everybody, it's Sarah and welcome to day 7 of Bookmas. I'm sorry if I seem a little bit low energy today, but I'm kind of feeling a little bit under the weather. So what I decided to do is that today, since I do still want to keep on doing Bookmas and I want to succeed in it, I'm gonna have a bit of a low effort video for me, and that is talking to you about my reading goals for 2021 and also my channel goals for 2021. But let's start with my reading goals, because some of those gotta be explained before I get into my channel goals. The first reading goal is my reading challenge, obviously. I decided to not stress myself with my reading challenge. I'm just gonna put it again, just like in 2020, at 60 books, which I think I'll reach quite easily, since this year I read over 120 already, and I think I'll get to 140 maybe by the end of the year. So I don't think 60 books in 2021 is gonna be a problem. However, I will try to have these 60 books, once again, only be books that are new to me, so not counting rereads, which might put me in a bit of a spot between a rock and a hard place in terms of my next reading goal, because that is, I want to get back into rereading a lot, and there's a lot of books that I want to reread in 2021. The construction outside is loud again, but anyway, I always was someone who reread a lot, and before I got into BookTube, even just not even creating BookTube videos but watching BookTube, I had years sometimes where I pretty much only reread books and almost didn't pick up any new books. And then when I discovered BookTube, there were suddenly so many new books to discover always, and I always felt like I needed to read those new releases or new to me books and everything, that I kind of neglected rereading my old favorites, which has always been one of my favorite parts of reading, like rediscovering old worlds, kind of coming home within stories that I have known since I was 10, 11, 12 years old. And so that is something that I want to get back into, but it's also connected with one of my channel goals, which I'll get to, obviously, when I will talk about my channel goals. I will also not talk specifically about which books I intend to reread in 2021, because I will also, I think next week, have a video up, or maybe it's even this week, I don't know. But I will have a video up talking about the books that I want to read in 2021 that aren't new releases. So keep your eyes out for that. Then I have two kind of categories, I would say, in terms of books where I want to read more of them. The first of those, obviously, is adult fantasy, adult high fantasy written by women. I have in fact already made my anticipated releases within adult fantasy written by women list, and I will leave the video link down below and up there. So if you're interested, definitely go and check that out. So that is the one category that I want to read more of. And the second category is international works and international books. I think it's a shame. I mean, I understand, of course, why it is like that, but I think it's a shame that on BookTube we are very focused on Anglo-American works and Anglo-American stories. And I wanna just broaden my horizon. I have almost never read German releases, German new releases, aside from fantasy, which is horrible. Don't do it. I do not recommend. German fantasy is cringy as fuck. I hate it so much. But yeah, there's a reason why I jumped to English quite soon. So I do want to read more translated works, be they translated into German or into English. I want to read more German Austrian fiction, and I also want to read more English fiction that isn't written by white British or American authors. But that's, for example, I know that in Africa there's a lot of authors that write in English. So just like international fiction, I want to do more of that. I want to read more of that. And that's the second category that is part of my reading goals, I would say. I also have a maybe within channel goals connected to that then, but I'll get to that later. And then lastly, my TBR charts. I will have 3 TBR charts in 2021. The first of those is of course my normal TBR chart, from which I pull 3 books each month and then decide to read one of them. Now, it's gotten a lot more empty already. At the beginning of 2019, it was like at the very top, it was completely full and I could barely put my hand in without it spilling over. But now it's more than half empty and I'm really proud of that. And actually I have thought of reading 2 books from this TBR chart each month, because I have since 2019 gotten my TBR from 90 books, then 70 books, to at the beginning of 2020 around 30 books. And I hope that maybe by the end of 2021 I will have a TBR 0. And I think if I pull 2 books from this TBR chart each month, which will make 24 books, and then I just read the other 6 books sometime during the year, I can get to TBR 0, because I read with this TBR chart as well as just outside of that, I read a total of I think 25 books from my TBR this year. So yeah, I think I can do that. That's also one of my reading goals, to get to TBR 0 by the end of 2021. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, because that will also mean that this year for the last year, or 2021 for the last year, I would have my book buying ban as I have it. I look at my book buying ban not in a way where I'm like, hey, I'm not allowed to buy books, but I'm only allowed to buy books that I know I will read right away, and that I'm not allowed to accumulate new books. But obviously, if by the end of 2021 I have a TBR 0, then I'm allowed to do that again. So yeah, I'm still gonna have my normal book buying ban in 2021, but maybe we'll see on my reading goals video for 2022 if that's still gonna be in place then. Then my second TBR chart is gonna be these books I'm excited for TBR, because this year I have noticed that there were so many books that I was excited for, new releases as well as not new releases, that I just didn't get to because of all the other books that I felt like I needed to read and that I also wanted to read. But I don't know, it just felt like a lot of books that I felt even more like reading took a back burner because the other books I wanted to read and felt the need to read. So yeah, I'm gonna have a TBR chart that's gonna be part new releases from 2021, part releases from 2020 that I didn't get to, part some series and books that I'm just excited to start and to read and that I've heard about, but that are always just like, yeah, I guess I'm gonna add it to my TBR, and then I never pick them up. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna put my entire Goodreads TBR into a TBR chart and, you know, just pick a book per month from the TBR chart that I'm excited to read. And that's gonna be my second TBR chart. And then I'm also gonna keep my series TBR chart, so I'm gonna pull 1 series per month from this TBR chart that I will read the next book in. And I have actually managed to kind of not cull my series, but finish a lot of series on my shelves and catch up with a lot of series on my shelves. So it's not as urgent anymore as it was in 2020, and so I won't be as hard on myself and not start any new series unless I can absolutely help it. But I will actually just like keep the TBR chart without the need to not start any new series. And that was it, I think, for my reading goals. So let's go on to my channel goals. So channel goals wise, I'm not too fussed about numbers. I got to 500 subs this year, so I guess it would be nice to get to 1K by the end of 2021. But honestly, at the rate my channel is growing, I don't believe that will ever happen. So yeah, it's not something I'm gonna put on my goals or anything, because then if I don't reach it, I'm gonna be disappointed and I don't want that. Then my maybe channel goal, although I don't know if it's connected to the channel, but the goal that's maybe connected to reading more international books is I thought that maybe I wanted to host a readathon around translated works and international books, but I'm not sure if that's worth it, because again, there's some things where I'd want to do them, but I feel like my platform is still too small to really do them. So we'll see first how my growth is in 2021 and how my life goes in 2021, because of course hosting readathons can be quite stressful. So yeah, maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't, I don't know yet. And then also with my channel, I want to focus my channel a lot more. I feel like now my channel is focused a lot on high fantasy because that's what I mostly read, or adult high fantasy, but I also feel like my videos are a bit all over the place and I'm kind of just doing whatever. And I do very much want to focus within 2021 on doing more of Let's Talk Culture and Fantasy of those videos, and to just concentrate more on cultures within fantasy and everything to do with that. And then also on the other hand, I want to concentrate more, focus my channel more on adult high fantasy written by women. And maybe just like, that would be great if my channel ever grows for those two things to be the things that my channel is known for me talking about culture and talking about adult high fantasy written by women and shining a light on those authors. And that's actually also what my reading plans are connected to. Since I do want my channel to be focused around adult high fantasy written by women, I do want to have a review of every book or series that falls into adult high fantasy written by a woman that's on my shelves or that I read up on my channel. And to do that, I want to reread a lot of these books so that I can then do series reviews afterwards, and to kind of have a place where people can go if someone else tells them there's no adult high fantasy written by women, that you can just be like, hey, look at all these amazing books written by women. And so I did already do a playlist of women in fantasy, of all the videos that I have done so far connected to that, all the reviews that happen to be books by women, and I will leave the playlist link down below and up there, so definitely go and check it out if you're interested. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm most excited for actually in 2021, to be able to reread some of my old favorites that got me into adult fantasy, and to be able to share what these are with you, and to share what the pros and cons of them are with you. Maybe also going back to some of them and noticing that, hey, they're not as great now that I have 10 plus years of experience reading adult high fantasy behind me. And yeah, so that's mostly my channel goal. And then I did forget to talk about that, but the last thing of course is my book club of Queens, Witches and Valkyries, in which we read one adult high fantasy book written by a woman per month. And I do want to kind of grow that as well. It feels like I'm kind of a bit lackluster about it right now, and I do want to maybe like start live shows for the monthly reads at the beginning or at the end of the month always, and then also revive the Discord and just, you know, make it a little bit more friendly. I don't know, because aside from reading the books, I'm pretty inactive now, so we'll see how I'll do that, because I have no clue what I'm doing, to be honest. But anyway, that was it for this video. If you enjoyed it, maybe think about giving me a thumbs up and also maybe subscribe. All the links to my social media are in the description box down below, so go and check those out. All the links to the book club, of course, are also down below, so go and check those out as well, and I hope I'll see you soon. Bye!